The man was on a plane for the first time, but his seat was occupied by a boy. He wanted to argue with the stewardess, but he was taken to the first-class cabin. There was a domineering female president in the first-class cabin. She is being accosted by an old man. The woman couldn't stand it anymore and pulled the boy to her seat. This 38-year-old female CEO could never have imagined she will fall in love with a poor boy of 18. Then, the woman ordered a cup of coffee from the stewardess. The boy said he wanted one too, but the stewardess said she was from the economy class. You can't use the first-class menu. This made the scene awkward for a while. After a while, a strong airflow hit. The plane suddenly shook violently. The woman grabbed the boy's hand because she was afraid. The temperature from the palm of her hand made the young man's heart beat faster. Soon, the woman was about to get off the plane. The boy finally couldn't help but speak.
Ravi d'avoir frôlé la mort en votre compagnie en tout cas.
This way of approaching was really unique. When she left, the boy then realized that the woman had forgotten to take the USB drive. He chased after her immediately, no matter how loudly he shouted from behind. But the people in the car didn't hear it at all. The two seemed to be drifting apart, but fate tied them together tightly. She was a female CEO respected by everyone, because the focus of her life was on work. So people often said that she was an unromantic woman. That night, she finally found out that the USB flash drive that saved important information was lost while she was working. When she was worried, she suddenly saw a note on the screen. There was a phone number on it. She dialed the number. It was the boy on the plane who answered the phone. After getting the address, she rushed over quickly. In the crowd, the guy was waving at him. Then he took her into the bar. The noisy atmosphere in the bar made the female CEO feel very unnatural, but the guy was very happy. He introduced her to his friends, and the woman just wanted to get the USB flash drive back quickly. The guy said that he left the things at home. He also asked her to take his car back to get it. The woman had no choice but to agree to go with him, but she never thought that his car was actually a pink motorcycle. It looked a bit tattered. She was a little worried that the car was not safe. The boy assured her that his skills were absolutely first-rate. After hesitating for a long time, she put on the helmet, but she found that the buckle of the helmet could not be fastened. The young man took the initiative to help her. At this time, neither of them noticed. This misleading angle was photographed by two girls in the bar and posted online. Soon the boy took her home. The room was in a terrible mess. He searched under the table and finally found the USB drive. The woman just said thank you and left. The young man wanted to invite her for a cup of coffee. Because of excessive nervousness, he spoke incoherently.
Écoutez, je sais que c'est très à la mode en ce moment et c'est vraiment gentil, mais je suis débordée, puis c'est pas du tout mon genre.
Looking at the goddess's back as she left, he was obviously disappointed. Early the next morning, the woman found that the subordinates looked at her differently than usual when she arrived at the company. It seemed that something was hidden from her, until the girl at the front desk took out a photo. She realized that what happened yesterday was photographed and posted online. When the big boss of the company knew about it, he also encouraged her that it was time for her to date properly. But no one knew it was just a misunderstanding. She told her friend about it. Unexpectedly, her friend also said the same thing as her boss. Why not try dating? Your miserable life and work status should have changed a long time ago. After she went home, she thought about it for a long time and finally took a brave step. The next morning, the well-behaved female president changed into a young and energetic outfit. No one expected that the moment this 38-year-old woman walked into the university campus, she stunned a group of young men. The confident steps and the charm she exuded made passers-by fall for her, and the young man who was obsessed with her never thought that the goddess actually came to her door. She told the boy that she wanted to visit the campus. The boy immediately agreed. The passers-by also cast envious eyes. Under the woman's initiative, they finally knew each other's names. The woman's name is Alice and the boy's name is Taza, and the two agreed to attend the art exhibition tonight. That day, she took Taza to an art exhibition. This was their first date. Alice also introduced her colleagues to him. During the chat, the age difference between the two also made other people look at her strangely. When she was going home, Alice suddenly received a call. It turned out that her sister had arranged a blind date for her on her own initiative. The other party was a doctor waiting at home. She wanted to refuse directly, but Taza accidentally heard the word doctor on the side. He asked if anyone was injured. In order to avoid embarrassment, Alice casually said that someone in her family was sick. When Taza knew it, he was very nervous. He rushed to the side of the road to stop a taxi for her. Then he directly pulled the passenger out and explained that there was a patient who needed to go to the hospital. After a series of arrangements by him, he finally sent the goddess to another man, and his performance just now also made Alice feel warm. And this forced blind date was just a formality. In the next few days, Taza's cute pink motorcycle also witnessed their romance. Alice asked him to participate in a fashion show. Here gathered the bigwigs in the fashion industry. Alice reminded him to keep quiet. Just then, a model suddenly fell down. He hurried forward to help. This move surprised Alice, and this enthusiastic boy also left some impressions on the bigwigs. The two got along for a few days. Their relationship finally made progress. In the evening, after Taza sent her to the door of her house, he wanted to try to hold Alice's hand, but she deliberately avoided him. This made the atmosphere a little awkward. Taza said good night when she left, but he regretted it as soon as he said it. Why don't I take the initiative myself? He knocked on the door and asked Alice if there was anyone else at home. The answer was no. He kissed her directly. Alice did not push him away. It seemed that they had been waiting for this scene for a long time. The next morning, Alice urged him to leave quickly because her sister would be back soon. He put on his clothes quickly but could not find the other shoe. In the end, he had to put a plastic bag on his foot. Just as he went downstairs, Alice suddenly called him from behind. This simple kiss made him completely intoxicated. It also made him sure that the relationship was real. In the following time together, Taza became more and more proactive. The two of them sat on a pink scooter and enjoyed the good times brought by love. At this sweetest moment, Taza wanted to make a long trip with her, but Alice refused the proposal. The age difference between the two finally made Alice back off.
Tu te rends compte que quand j'aurai 40 ans, t'auras 21 ans? Quand j'aurai 50 ans, t'auras 31 ans?
Although Taza did not care at all, Alice decided to put this relationship aside for the time being. Taza knew that they might break up this time. His life seemed to have lost its goal. His house was as messy as a garbage dump. But then fate brought the two together again. That day, the company selected the male lead for the magazine cover. But the fashion boss was very picky. No one was pleasing to the eye. Until they saw Taza's photo, they found that he was the enthusiastic boy at the fashion show. They immediately decided to choose him. This surprised Alice. But she had to ask Taza for help. Father quickly told him that your girlfriend had come. He wanted to find a clean piece of clothing to change into, but he found that all the clothes were smelly. Dad had to take off his shirt and put it on him. When the two met again, the atmosphere seemed to become a little strange. After Alice entered the house, she was also shocked by the messy living room. But Taza's father was very smart. He pretended to be a drunkard and vented his dissatisfaction with his relationship. Alice could only comfort him. He learned that she invited him to be the male lead of the magazine. This made Taza very excited. Maybe he could use this opportunity to get the two back to their previous state. But there was an accident before filming. Alice's colleague accidentally let it slip. It turned out that being invited to shoot the cover was not Alice's idea at all. She just wanted to please her boss and get a chance to be promoted. This incident made Taza very sad. But even if he was used, he was still willing. He was willing to help Alice, even if he was just a tool to be used. But when it came to filming, he was criticized again and again because of his poor condition. He couldn't stand it anymore and had a quarrel with the director. Alice saw all this. The emotions he had suppressed for a long time finally broke out and he left the scene barefoot. But Alice didn't know why he was so angry. She chased him and advised him not to care about what the director said. Acting was not as difficult as imagined, and Taza also exposed her.
C'est sûr que par rapport à vous, bluffant. Putain. Quoi, j'ai rien vu, je suis pas jury au César, mais ça je pense que ça méritait une petite statuette. Se sortir son balai du cul et tout ça pour avoir une putain de promotion. Je nomme qui? Je nomme Alice Lantins. Alice Lantins, mesdames et messieurs. On l'accueille bien fort, on l'applaudit pour l'ensemble.
Although he was very angry, he didn't want this to affect Alice's work. Taza's heart was broken, and Alice also blamed herself. Soon after, Alice quit her job. She originally wanted to be a writer. Now she finally has time to do what she wants. And when she passed by the big tree where they dated again, everything was already things have changed. Life seems to be filled with eternal loneliness. That day, she saw Taza's poster on the bus. She stood there for a long time. At this moment, she realized that the man was the one she truly loved. So she decided to get back the relationship. She immediately went to school to find him, but she was mistaken for a new teacher. She was asked to give a lecture. Taza was stunned for a long time in the crowd. Everyone was waiting for Alice to speak. Unexpectedly, a romantic confession came. Alice told him that I screwed up. I can't forget you. I'm not acting when I'm with you. In the end, the two kissed each other. Soon after, their relationship became sweeter than before. Still the familiar pink motorcycle. Still the sunny smile. Alice's new book is about to be published. Two people with a 20-year age difference finally found their own happiness.